Okay, well, welcome everyone to History of the NECS World with our WMS beta kickoff meeting. I'm going to start off by having Cindy give like a little introduction, and then we're going to go into our PowerPoint. We've got a total of about 10 slides we're going to go through, and it's going to give you a good idea about what you can expect to get from us in the next couple of weeks. So, Cindy, I'm going to hand it off to you.
Okay, so I just want to start out by saying welcome, everyone. Welcome to the WMS beta kickoff meeting. We're very excited to have you here, and we appreciate your participation with this. My name is Cindy, and I know lots of you out there, but I've been with NECS for over 20 years, and I've been in technical support and quality control and doing a lot of testing and some on-site training as well. I will be your host today. And then the presenters is going to be Chris Sinatra and Tony Blahos, who are both present here today. And we would like to start out this meeting by introducing all of the beta customers. So why don't we start out with H&R, Tammy? Why don't we have you introduce yourself and all of the people that you have with you and a little bit about yourself.
Well, I'm Tammy Christian with H&R Foods. I've been with H&R for 28 years. So I know I've been here a while. So I also have Shane Bethel, Marco Trejo. He's over there shaking his head no. And then I have two others, Brandon Ellison and Paul Carrasco. Brandon and Paul and Shane have been with me for quite a while, about 17, 18, 19 years between all my people. So they know what they're doing in the warehouse. So
that's great to hear. That's great to hear.
Okay, and we've been in business since 1969. So we've been around for a while.
Okay, that sounds good. Thank you very much, Tammy. How about market? Roger, would you want to introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about yourself?
Hi, Roger Dumez, been with the company for 20 years or so. We're longtime NECS users, back since the previous millennium, I think. We're excited about the project. I'm here with Victor Acosta and Tony Mendoza, who are really the go-to guys when it comes to inventory in the facility. So we're using the current UPC system, and we're excited about the new features in the system we're going to hear about today.
Perfect. Thank you very much. And last but not least, we have Josh with Melotte. Who can you introduce yourself and tell us who you have with you?
Sure. My name is Josh. I'm with Melotte Distributing. I also have Norm, who is our warehouse manager with me, and Jacob Curtis, who is our systems administrator, should also be with us on the call.
Yeah, I'm here.
We've been with NECS for quite a long time, worked with them on getting a few custom modules programmed for us, and just, a variety of other features, customization, stuff like that. So we've been working hand in hand with them for quite a while. We have been using UPC for a very long time, but are ready to migrate to a newer system that we're pretty excited about, that will actually have a good solid foundation of support behind it. And yeah, that's about it for me.
Yeah, well, thank you very much.
Myself?
Go ahead.
Sure, if you want to say part.
Okay, I've been doing this. I'm Norm. I've been in warehousing since 93 and started out working with the AS400 system. And then over here with NECS since I've been here in 2007. So I've seen a lot of comings and goings on the software end of it anyway. I'm excited to see what we have to come. Make it easier, more efficient. So, yeah. That's all I got.
Yeah, that's okay. We're excited to have you here, Norm. We know that you're going to help us out a lot, and that would be great. And we know that you'll be able to put this to some good use and yeah, help us move forward. We appreciate that. So right
Looking
now, what I'm
forward
going
to
to do, what's that, Norm?
I said, looking forward to it.
Yeah, yeah. Okay, so let's move on to the presenters. Chris Sinatra, would you like to take it from here?
Yes, Cindy, and if you would call up that PowerPoint for me,
Sure.
kind of go from there. Yeah, I just want to say that I appreciate all you guys, all the beta testers. I appreciate all of your experience that you're going to bring. You guys are actually going to be kind of like the leaders in how the product continues to develop, because you might spot something, you will spot some things that need to be maybe streamlined, changed a little bit, and so forth. And that's one of the big things about our company. We're always trying to get feedback from our users to make the software work in the best way that it can for you. So on your screen right now, you should see the PowerPoint presentation has come up. And this is just a title screen. Welcome to the Warehouse Management System Beta Kickoff Meeting, November 2nd, 2022. And then Cindy, if you go to the next slide, we're going to go over what the agenda is for today.
Yeah, bear with me here. Something is. Please hold. Technical difficulties.
Yeah, so by the way, as she's figuring that out, I'll let you know that we basically have 7 items on the agenda. There's actually technically 8 items on the agenda. The last item is the Q&A. So what we want to do is to be able to go through those first 7 items with you guys together, just to get through that information. And I know you guys are going to have questions. So at the very end, we'll want to be able to keep the questions at the end, if that's cool with everyone.
Okay, slide 2.
All right, you did it. Thank you. So as I was saying, we've got 7 items on the agenda. The first one is the introductions of the beta clients, which you guys have already done. Next, we're going to talk about that contract that you signed. Like, what does that actually mean? Like, what are the expectations you should be having from that? Third, we're going to explain the Zebra TC21 scanner, which is going to be shipped to you in the next couple of weeks, and why we chose that model and how to operate it. And things like that you'll need to know as soon as you unbox it. Number 4 is Tony is going to go through the latest demo workflow, so you can see how the application behaves. We're going to go through the list of features included in the initial beta, which is going to be version 0.2.0. So all of these beta versions are going to start with a 0. 0.1 is being tested in-house right now. So we're getting our in-house staff to find any bugs inside of it that we can before it gets to you, to make it that much more smoother for you. So you'll be getting at least version 0.2.0. The 6th item on here is a list of features that are coming soon. And 7th is how to get updates, submit bugs, and software enhancements. So we'll go over those processes as well. So Cindy, if we can go to the next slide. And by the way, as we go through this, I'm going to have Tony, there'll be things I'm going to have Tony jump in from time to time and give his explanation. The beta clients, as you already know, is Melotte Distributing from Green Bay, Wisconsin, H&R Foods from Amarillo, Texas, and Fulton Market from Chicago, Illinois. And everyone's name that's on the list right now, you guys are the official testers, and we're going to be looking for your input. So anytime we get an email from one of you guys, we're going to be on high alert. All right, so let's go on to the next slide. Oh, okay, so for this particular slide, I think that everyone has a basic understanding of what the beta contract is going to be about, but I just wanted to go through it. Again, at the very end, we can, if there's questions that are unclear, we can talk about it at the end. But basically, everyone that's here should have at least Entree UPC version 4.0 or later. And we're 99% sure you guys have that, because that version is already, I think, at least a few years old. So that shouldn't be an issue. Everyone is going to be receiving a Zebra TC21 touch computer scanner, which is going to have the WMS app pre-installed on it. It's also, we ordered protective cases for it. So it's gonna come with these cases. So if you drop it, et cetera, it'll be more protected. The API, the WMS API, application programming interface, is going to be remotely installed onto your server by an NECS tech. It's going to be a fast process. Your system doesn't have to go down, like people can be using your system as normal, but we'll arrange for a time for us to install that for you, so you don't have to worry about that. That'll be before you get the devices. And it's going to be necessary for the devices to actually run with your data. We want to make sure that you guys have the bartender software. The bartender software is what is going to be printing the labels. And if you guys have worked with Paul McGinnis, for example, I'm sure that you already have bartender software installed. But if you don't, we'll need to discuss that. But again, we're assuming you have this bartender software by Seagull Scientific already installed. The next part here is about the priority technical support. And you're going to be on what we call a high priority technical support, except it's not going to be including things for after hours, because these are things that the programming staff has to deal with. And it's different from a normal technical support thing. But we are expecting that any issues that get reported are going to be resolved within 48 hours maximum. The beta program is expected to start November 16th. So by November 16th, you should have your Zebra TC21 device. I know, right in time for Thanksgiving, right? By the way, I appreciate you guys doing this too with the holidays coming up. I know how challenging it probably is. So we understand that you might have a little bit more downtime after Thanksgiving and then Christmas kicks in, but what you can do, whatever you can do, we're really going to be appreciative of it. Later, when the actual app is released, when version 1.0 is released, and you decide to purchase it, you'll have a 25% discount. There will also be 6 months of technical support included for you at no charge. And also, you would allow us at a future date to possibly go to your location and record you using the WMS app, and possibly a testimonial that we could use for marketing purposes. And also one of our expectations is that you'll be attending these Zoom calls. We'll probably have at least one a month, maybe two. It depends on the progress and how things keep going with the bugs and enhancements and so forth. So that's the basics of that beta contract that I think most of you understand. You might have some questions. Like I said, we'll cover those at the end. So we'll go on to the next slide, Cindy. By the way, Tony, is there anything you wanted to mention regarding the beta contract?
Just one other thing. You're going to have to be on a recent version of the Entree software as well. Just because we're making changes on the interfaces, we're adding features and whatnot. So you're going to have to stay pretty current on the Entree software as well. Okay,
so Tony, what's the current version right now?
Current version is 4.6.2.
Okay, and is there another release that's planned in the next few weeks?
4.7 is going to come out around Thanksgiving. So I think the 4.6, it's actually 4.6.2.1 is the one that's currently published on the website. That'll be the go-to to get ready for the beta.
Okay. All right. So you guys may have to do, depending where you are with Entree updates. It sounds like you will anyway have to get an update as well of the main Entree system. Okay. Thank you, Tony. So you're going to be receiving this Zebra TC21 touch computer scanner. And the main reason that we're sending you this model scanner, and it's basically yours, is so that we can have consistent results. So when you guys choose whatever scanners you're going to actually be using, whether they're like the hand trigger scanner gun type things or different scanners rated to be used in the freezer, et cetera, there's all different models and so forth, and older models, newer models, et cetera. But for the beta program, we wanted to make sure that we're all on the same page with how this operates and works, so we can have those consistent results. The TC21, you've already got Wi-Fi in your warehouse. It should very easily sync to your Wi-Fi network. That should not be a problem. It's running Android version 10. It has a 1280 by 720 LED touch backlight display, and it's rated for light warehouse use. It's not rated to go into the freezer. It's rated to be like in a dry, refrigerated area, so to speak. But it's not a heavy duty type unit. At the bottom of the screen, it talks about the operating temperature, which is 14 degrees up to 122. It has a good ceiling, a good IP rating of a 67, which means it's waterproof, dustproof. Can survive drops to concrete. Forklifts can roll over it once, twice, 3 times. No, just kidding. Hopefully not any forklifts running over it. Snow, rain, heat, freezing cold, etc. Now, Tony, I'm sure you've got a TC21 somewhere on your desk. Are there anything you want to talk about as far as like how that's going to be used?
Yeah, the picture that you have on the screen, it really shows what it is. I'll throw mine up to my webcam so you can kind of see what that looks like. Here's one here, so you get the size of it. The one big thing with it that's confuses some people, along the front edge where the scanner is, just to the right of the scanner, you can see here is where the power button is. A lot of people get confused, like, how do I turn this on? That's going to be the trickiest part of this device. Other than that, it's just like your cell phone. Plus, it has a built-in scanner, but it's like any Android cell phone.
Yeah, from what I read too, the battery life I think is at least 8 to 12 hours. I don't know if you have any real life experience with that, but it should last at least a full shift.
It should, yes.
Okay. And Harold, are you available to mention like what they're getting for the cradle and the charging unit and all that?
Yeah, what we're shipping initially is the TC21 that Chris mentioned, along with a single slot charging cradle, the powered AC adapter, and the respective cords to make sure that you can charge the device properly. Zebra also has, not only for this particular unit, but for the guns, multi-slot cradles. But as Chris had mentioned, just to get started, we're giving you the basic components. However, we will have some clients that probably will say, well, I don't really need a single slot cradle, that's kind of expensive. You can charge with a USB A to C cable if you wanted to, but I think that overall the single slot charging cradle is going to do a quicker charge, and most people will opt for that. It's not going to break the bank. So that's kind of what is going to be bundled that you'll receive. As Chris mentioned earlier, when we ship those devices. And speaking to Josh, I know that you already have, I believe it's the L10, or I'm sorry, the ET51. Just to allay any concerns, as Chris mentioned, we are a Zebra partner reseller, so we're supporting and will support the Zebra ET51, the Zebra L10, the Zebra TC8300, and the Zebra MC9300. They're all Android devices, and they're all in different kind of cost factors. So it's going to be a matter of what fits your budget the best. And if you're going to be going into coolers and freezers all day long, or you're going to have pickers in there for 20, 30 minutes at a time, you're certainly going to probably want the heavier duty tablet or the gun. That's it.
Okay.
That answer?
Yeah, thank you, Harold. And by the way, too, like, so if you whatever scanners you choose from out of the Zebra lineup, like Harold mentioned, like the 4 charger cradle, just makes things more convenient. It's a cradle where you could basically drop 4 units in one device, and they could all charge at the same time. Just less clutter, wherever you're doing the charging. And as far as Zebra goes, pretty much any Zebra unit that's Android, that's a more modern unit, should work with the application. Like, we're designing it to be cross-platform with Zebra, or as they say in other countries, it's pronounced Zebra, but Zebra I think is the right way to say it. But yeah, so so if you haven't made like if a final purchasing decision about if you're going to buy additional tablets or scanners, talk to Harold about that, and he could just confirm, whatever model that you want to use. You can buy these from us. You can buy them online. There's discount places, et cetera. You've got a lot of different choices. And we're also going to be recommending Zebra for the printers as well. So, okay, let's move on to the next slide. Okay, so with this slide, I'm going to turn things over to Tony. Tony, do you need to be like a host?
Yeah, I'm gonna need to be able to share my screen.
Okay. So
If somebody can do that, that would be great.
Yep, I see it.
Which screen are you seeing?
Welcome to WMS screen, Tony, with the IP address.
Okay, all right, I'm getting no indication. I told that was the screen, but I just wanted to make sure that that was truly the one that we're gonna get. I had planned on demoing on the Zebra, and I actually had it connected briefly for a second until I started waving it around to a mirroring device. So unfortunately, I'm gonna have to do this on the emulator. I was never able to get it wired back in. But when you first start the application on your Zebra device, you're going to come to this screen here. This is going to be how you tell the client how to find the WMS server that tech support will configure on your network. This is going to be sitting right next to your file server. So if you know the IP address of your file server, that's the one you're going to use here. So I'm going to go ahead and key that in here. I click in, you'll have a number pad here that pops up, and you can put those numbers. And then once that's done, you hit continue. It verifies, and it will bring you into the login screen. Normally, it won't have a username and password filled in. This is because I'm running an emulator. This is something that the developers had so that they can get in quickly. It's preloaded there. And you can see this is the main dashboard of the WMS screen. All right, there's a lot here. Up here, you have the app title, warehouse manager. You have the date that you're viewing data for, Wednesday, November 2nd. Say you want to work on tomorrow's invoices, you could click this calendar icon here and move the date to whichever one you wanted. We'll go to 4, hit apply. You can see now it says Friday, November 4th, one invoice. There's this other little button here. You can see it's got the number 2 on it. That's today's date, the 2nd. If you click that, it quickly would bring you back to today's date. That's not working on this device. Okay. That quickly brings you back to today's date. There's a hamburger menu here, which will also allow you navigation. So we're on the dashboard, pick invoices, receive purchase order, received by item, physical count, cycle count, relabel, transfer in, transfer out, identify item, settings, and a logout button. You guys all use UPC today. Do your guys on the floor change devices, or is it one-to-one, or they just grab whatever one's available? Do you guys have any comment on that? That was one question we were wondering on the development team. So that's a question for any of our beta testers. You can either type it in chat or just shout it out.
So we just grab whatever gun's available.
Good.
On our end.
Yeah, we were wondering the viability of having it save a username and password on the device and remember me function, and it just we weren't sure if it was worth building, and if people were just grabbing a device and they wouldn't want to remembering setting.
Well, if I could input on that, what's nice about the password and username is for training purposes. If I want to see who's using what gun to scan what product, I can narrow it down by a username and offer that person specific training. So it does come in handy for things like that.
Okay.
Username and password. We do use that.
Do you?
Yeah, we do, believe it or not.
That's key to
Not
this.
everybody's on the board, but we do use it.
Some.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, I'll continue with the presentation. So here we're going to go right back into the dashboard, and the initial beta, it's really focused around picking invoices. We're going to have some more features coming into it later, but this is the initial workflow for picking invoices. So you'll click on the pick invoices. Here we have 3. You can see 3 routes. If you wanted to search for a route, if you have a lot of routes, you click that, and you could type in. When you click that, your cursor will automatically be there, and as you type it, we'll filter that down. So you can quickly find the route you're looking for if you have lots of routes. If you want to see stuff that hadn't been picked, it would be the open. You wanted to see these toggle on and off. So when they're blue, that means they're on, and when they're white with the blue lettering, that means they're off. So if we had partially picked routes, those would show up here, and if we had completely picked routes, we can come back to this. Whenever you see this truck icon, clicking that icon will bring you right back to the main menu. Again, you have your date here, what date you're picking for, and then again, the invoices. So here's our first route. We only have 1 invoice on it. It's obviously unlikely to have 1 invoice, but for the demo, again, the same thing. And then we'd see open invoices, partial invoices, and complete invoices. We can see no partial and no complete here. Now here, this would be the company name of the delivery. Eventually, the city will be coming in this location here. The stop number is here, and the 01, and then the invoice number, the total number of units to pick, and the total gross weight. We click into that or tap into that, you're going to see the screen here. This has got a few different items on it. They're all catch weight items. Again, we were supposed to demo with the Zebra, so you were gonna hear the scanner and see these come in. But I'll start unpacking this screen the way it is from the top to bottom. So we have our invoice number designated here. This flashing light here lets you know this is a page that you can begin scanning on. So just start pointing and shooting, and it'll start filling in the blanks for you. Next to that, over here, we have our sort order. So you're able to sort by warehouse location, item number, description, or line ID. So you'll see those kind of jump around based on sort order. The default will be by warehouse location. All right, then the next thing, filter. And this will show case only.
We don't see anything, Tony.
The screen.
Sorry about that.
That's
Oh, there it
okay.
goes.
So we have the filter icon here. So if you click that filter icon, you can show case only, non-case only, just catch weights, and removed items that have been picked. They check on and they check off on those. Next, as we're moving down, we have our invoice details. You can see the invoice number, revision, invoice date. If you hit the arrow, you can expand down and see the route, stop, total pick, total weight. If there was a comment on the invoice, that would be displayed here, and then the ship to customer. That stuff's available only if you click on the down arrow. We're still doing a little bit of work on this screen. In a future release, expect to see invoice number, revision, and invoice date go away. We kind of already know that information. We want to actually have scroll into focus more of this information here, the ship to information, and have that more prominent without having to expand the header. Just below the header, we have another filter section. Going left to right, we have the dry one, which is the water drop with the slash through it. Frozen items, which is the snowflake, and all of these items that happen to be frozen. And then we have a refrigerated, which is the little truck with a fan inside of it, and the cooler temperature zone. So this is your temperature zone filtering. By default, everything will be active when you go into an invoice. This is what we're calling the item tiles. So you have the item number from Entree here, the description in bold, the warehouse location that it's supposed to be in, how many the picker needs to select, the pack size, and the unit of measure. On the left side, on the right side, there'll be a arrow here that would show the item information. If there was an image, it would be displayed. Again, the quantity ordered, quantity picked, shipped, how much weight. Then you have, again, item number, the class, box, lot number, the pack size, on-hand quantity, information about the warehouse location, secondary location if it was defined, and the temperature zone. Finally, the weight information block will give you minimum, maximum weight, average weight, constant weight, gross weight, and the total weight on hand. Any item that has this eye indicator with this button means that it is either a catch weight item or a lot-based item. Currently, we're only supporting catch weight items. There's no lot support yet. They'll be coming very soon. On these ones here, because I don't have the scanner connected, we're going to manually go into those, and you can't manually enter a quantity on the on these particular items because they're catch weights. They have to be manually entered. So you can't, you would instead enter in the weights that you have for the item. I'm just going to throw some weights in here. I know these aren't the right weights. And then we can go back here and you can see that down here in the completed section, we have those two cases. That one moved. Again, if we had gone here and we only filled in one weight and went back to this here, you'd see that there's only one filled in. This is a partial at that point, so it won't move down. And again, that filter at the top, we don't want to see the completed ones. We can hide that so you don't even see them as completed. I feel like it's a good way of coming back and reviewing in case you forgot where you left off. But either way, it's up to whatever works for your business. That covers the general picking scenario. If we wanted to remove a scan, we can manually remove that by coming in here. You'll see that the screen changes to red. This is a different operating mode for removing scans. So say they had, there was a change that came in after they picked, they need to put one back or some back. They would come in here to remove scan and they would scan those boxes off. In the case of this one here, if I want to scan off that partial, you just X out the catch weight. And again, this is on manual entry mode only. On scan entry mode, they wouldn't need to come to the catch weight screen. They would just scan the box and it would find the associated catch weight and remove that box automatically. So that one is completed, and now you can see that that has fallen off the order. To get out of remove scan mode, just click the X here and you're back into normal operating mode. There is a mode for bulk picking as well. My sample data doesn't have any items that are available for bulk picking because they're all catch weight. But if you had a case of 50 cases of fries or something like that that you need to scan, there is another operating mode for bulk scan. And when you do that, the way this works is it would take the first scan that you have and it would fill the entire quantity for that product once you're in bulk scanning mode. Again, you'll notice that this is kind of a gold color, clear indication that this is something different. This isn't normal operating mode. We plan to provide bulk scanning as a password option for the user. It's not currently password option out, but on the final release, this will be behind a password. So if you don't want just anybody being able to bulk scan, you can turn that feature off. That's what I had for that. At the end of the order, we can come in here if we want to, pick this 23 and 24. You can see now we have that one complete, and now I'm going to have the option of either putting a scan hold on it. If I had to go do something, I was taking lunch, whatever, you can put that on a hold, very similar to the old system, or you could hit the finish button, and that would complete the order and have it prepared for processing by the system. Now you can see here, now we do have a partial. We've moved into the partial. You've noticed that this progress bar has turned orange and it's moved halfway around. That's showing you that that's partially complete. We haven't crossed over fully to a completed order yet. And yes, that one was released. I can't get it back because it's been processed for scanning. So what I'll do is I'll go back here and we'll go into the third one. Go here. I'll just kind of give you a view of a simple, of a fully completed. And hopefully by the time we have our next one of these little chats, I have the emulator working because it's a lot better with the emulator. It works a lot quicker. The application's working. I just can't mirror it to you guys so you can see it on the Zoom call, unfortunately. So now we have picked everything that was required. And we finished that. And you can see now this has got a green status and it's on the complete. Those are that's the main workflow that we're going to be testing in beta 1. We're hoping to have a few more things, but this is really about focusing on the invoicing pick process. That's where our first stage is. And we want to use the feedback that we get from you guys here on workflow or other changes before we really get, releasing the purchasing. We've already kind of cut that in. As you can see here, if you go to purchase orders, they would be here. In fact, if I go here to, I believe, the 7th. So the purchase order interface is here. It's just not, it's not sending anything back to the database yet. We want to really polish this UI based on the feedback that we get from you on pick invoices. So again, that's why we're releasing it in that manner. It's not that we don't have these other things. It's not that we haven't started on them, but we want to get the feedback so we can polish them up based on your feedback. That's the end of my workflow presentation, Chris.
Okay, thanks, Tony. So one of the things I want to mention, because you guys are using UPC, you're used to paper, right? You're used to paper in the warehouse. So the way this works, we're eliminating, you don't have to print out loading sheets, because a loading sheet would print out, there'd be a barcode on the loading sheet, you scan the barcode on the loading sheet, and the UPC scanner would know what it is. You would probably, depending on how you do your picking, you probably would print out a pick list as well. You may pre-pick from certain zones or pre-pick by a particular route, for example, then bring it to a staging area. So what you'll notice is that the paper is going to be eliminated. For this first part of the beta program, you might still need to print your paper pick lists. But besides that, we hope to have that built into actually as a pick list option that's on the scanner too. So especially if you pick by route, you can choose the route and it could show all the items in bulk that have to be picked. So that'll help that process. Okay, Cindy, can you call back up? I think Tony has to. Okay, you got it. All right, cool. Okay, so that gives you guys like an overview. And once you get it and start playing with it, you'll probably have, write everything down, like any concerns or things that you need to think should be streamlined, or icons that don't make sense to you, or, whatever it happens to be, because we definitely want to get that feedback. And by the way, if you use the tablet version, later when we release a tablet version, we've got so much more screen real estate. It's going to look a lot nicer with the tablet version, but right now we're showing it on the smaller footprint, so to speak. So keep that in mind as well. Now, Cindy, if you go on to the next slide. Okay, so based upon what Tony just said, what version 0.2.0 is going to provide is going to allow you to configure and connect to the WMS server, which is part of your main Entree server. And all of the picking of invoice features are going to be included. You'll be able to pick any invoice that's not tracked by lot initially, but that's coming very soon. We're already working on that. So probably 0.3.0 will have lot tracking if you need that. But initially it'll be for items that are not lot tracked.
Amazing.
Tony, do you want to add anything to those comments?
No, that covers it.
Okay. And then Cindy, if we can move on to the next one, what is coming soon with the WMS beta? The ability to pick invoices containing track by lot items. Super important. Barcode definitions. The identify item feature, and then receive by item, and I'm sure receive by PO is coming soon thereafter. Tony, anything related to this screen?
No, you covered it very well.
Okay.
And again, I just want to, as soon as we start getting the feedback on the picking of an invoice, and we start getting that, and we feel like we're comfortable with, you guys are comfortable with where that interface is, then purchasing will be right behind that. The POs will be right behind that, because we want to make those two side systems match. It's one training process. It's just inbound versus outbound.
Thank you. Now, on this particular slide, this might be the most complicated of all the slides, and I'm going to follow this up with an email just to give you these bullet points again. But this is how to update your WMS version, submit bugs and things you're recommending for software enhancements to the WMS app. The first thing that we're going to do is we're going to ask you to set up a Google Gmail account, and that Google Gmail account is going to be linked to your TC21 device. So basically, when we push out updates, that device is going to know that it's linked to this account on the device. So whenever an update comes out, let's say Fulton Market spots something and we fix it that day, Everybody else will get the update pushed out to them automatically. So, but it's all going to be depending on you setting up a Google Gmail account that's linked to the device. Once your Gmail account is set up, you need to let Tony know what it is, because he's gonna make sure that your device is linked to whatever Gmail account you set up. And I have an example here, WMS beta _ Fulton market at gmail.com might be an example of how you might want to set up a potential Google Gmail account for this. For now, and as a fallback, any type of bug reports or software enhancements you have, you guys can all like send messages to the WMS beta at NECS.com, and everybody on the list will see that. So that'll be the ultimate fallback as well, to make sure you want to communicate something to us, or if you don't have that set up yet. And what we're going to be doing soon, I'm hoping by the end of the month, is that we're going to like really simplify this process. So future bug reporting and software enhancements and crash reports. Let's say for some reason the unit stops working or you get a crash report, it's going to be handled directly on the unit. So you won't have to go to, send us an email or something. As soon as something weird happens, it'll automatically alert us. And there'll also be a way for you to put your suggestions, etc., directly through the device, if that's easier. So I know, Tony, this is your domain as well. And I know when people get their Gmail account set up, they'll let you know what that is. But is there anything related to this you wanted to mention in addition to this?
Once the software is released, it'll go through a normal Play Store update. Because this is in a beta program, we're going to be using a special type of distribution software where we link that Gmail account, and then it's still being pushed out through Google. It's still being pushed out through the Play Store. It's a private release, and that's how we know how to route out the application updates.
Yeah, so in the future, when, like, let's say version 1.0 is released and so forth, all the updates are going to be pushed out automatically to you guys. So just like any other update you get on your phone, you'll have the option to update. You'll see what the changes are. You accept it, and then that device gets updated. So it's going to be like a normal type thing. Hopefully it's going to be super easy for everyone to do that as well. Okay, so I think we've concluded all of the slides we wanted to get through. And then we've got our last slide, which is Q&A. So you guys probably have some questions, and we might have some answers. But whoever wants to start, there's only a few of you on the call, so whoever wants to start with whatever questions you have, we'll address them.
Hey, Chris, I just wanted to add one thing, speaking to what you mentioned early on. For those in attendance, NECS not only is a Zebra partner reseller, we're also a bartender reseller partner. So should you need to get, bartender software, we can certainly obtain it for you if you don't already have it.
All right, thank you, Harold. Okay, so maybe I'll ask, does H&R Foods have any questions?
Yeah, Chris, we do. Go ahead, Brandon.
So as we're receiving product in, whenever we scan the barcodes, will it help us track dates, like on our fresh box beef, to let us know, to help us rotate our system, our product?
Yeah, that's a great question. We haven't gotten to the receiving part yet, but if it's a GS1 barcode that has the pack date or a sell-by date in there, then we will be recording it, and we'll be able to report on that, etc. If it is stamped on the box, at current, we don't have a means of tracking that, but we can, by all means, kind of enhance the system and do some type of manual capture for key information if it's needed.
Yeah, the way the philosophy works, like Tony says, if that information is already encoded in the barcode, we are like good to go, because you've got expiration dates, sell-by dates, you've got all this lot numbers, you've got all that. A lot of times, though, you guys are not getting all those details. So the fallback is actually to relabel. So that's why the bartender software is important as well, because you're going to want to put that information on there yourself if it's not there. So those are going to be the two main ways. And hopefully your suppliers will will come up to speed and actually get that information on there for you. And of course, you could probably call them and encourage them to do that as well. But that's key. I agree. That's a key item.
And again, the third option would be a manual option. When we start getting into the receiving, by all means, we can throw in a prompt, prompt the user for a expiration date or, something like that if it's not supplied. It's wide open as to what we can do.
Okay.
Okay. Marco? Paul?
I just want to know about like when we're scanning different zones, we have the similar barcodes and everything on say we got a Tyson item, we got the same Tyson item in the frozen section. We can't have them item numbers set up on both of those because it conflicts in our old system. Is there going to be a solution to that?
Yes, there's going to be a solution. We're trying to figure that one out. I know the old system would allow you to choose between which one you wanted, or it made its best guess based on what was on the invoicing, I imagine.
Yeah.
Is there any?
And we're not supporting that right at this second, but we will.
Okay.
Yeah, because that was a feature in the UPC system. So
we are aware of it. We are working on a solution. And by the time this gets in your hands, it may already be solved.
Okay.
Tony, if we have more than one zebra thing, each one has to have its own Gmail or just one Gmail in general?
One Gmail in general will be fine.
Okay.
Yeah, because you can, just like you can use it's like any other cell phone, you can log into the same device more than once. You can have a cell phone and a tablet and a computer logged in all at once.
So we don't have that label still, right? That zebra, whatever, that one for the scanner, the label, the printer,
No,
the bartender.
we don't have the bartender yet, but that's something we need.
It's a
Yeah.
software program.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think we're done at this moment with our questions.
okay, cool. Roger, do you have any questions?
Yeah, we've got one. During a pick, if a box is removed, will it be immediately available for someone else to scan?
If a case is removed off, scan off, yes, that goes immediately back for rescan.
Okay, great. That's it from us.
Josh, how about you?
I had a question relating to the bartender software. Bartender is not what we currently use. Is the bartender software only going to be required for relabeling, or is that also pertaining to the label definitions and defining different types of barcodes as well?
What software do you use now? What's your preferred software?
We currently use TechLink's Label Matrix.
TechLink's Label Matrix. You can use whatever label software that you want to create your labels. The application should be able to read them. If you wanted to relabel through the application or something like that, is that working on UPC or are you handling outside of UPC?
For relabeling, we do all
Yeah.
that through Label Matrix.
So you're not doing any relabeling through the current UPC products. You can continue to relabel the way you're doing it now, and our system will pick up the barcodes just fine.
Okay, so bartender only comes into play if we were relabeling through an NECS product?
Correct.
Okay.
Hey-
That's all I have at the moment.
So Josh, are you relabeling all of your when it comes in?
No, just, and Norm might be able to answer this a little bit better than me, but I think it's just very specific items that, don't have a GS1 type
Correct.
barcode? Yeah.
Correct.
Okay,
So anything that doesn't have a GS1, we assign one of our labels to it, but I don't think that's not terribly common, is it anymore?
Well, we also relabel product that is maybe zoned for the cooler. And we have to move it to the freezer, so we do need to put a label on it at that time. So we do generate quite a few of our own here.
Right, yeah.
Both generic and the white labels.
And are you relabeling,
Oh, sure.
are you relabeling because it's moving zones to get a different identifier? Is that why you're doing the relabel?
Correct. That's correct.
Okay,
It's the same product would then be moved into a different item number identifier, if that's what you mean. And also into a different zone. And because we have current stock in one zone, we have to reflect it under a different item number in another zone.
right. And you want to get away from that? Is that what I'm understanding?
No, we do that. We can't get away from that.
No, I meant get away from the relabeling.
No,
Or you
we
wanna
will
keep
be
relabeling?
relabeling. We will be relabeling for that forever.
All right, so yeah, so if you're doing that to the current system, as long as it's relabeling it to a different SKU, a different item number, then you don't have any problems. It's gonna work out of the gate.
Okay.
does the label that you're regenerating, do you include like a lot number inside of it? Or a date?
That's correct. That's correct.
Okay, are you creating like your own lot numbers? Just as a sequential number, or to use the date as a lot? number?
It's done by the date.
Okay,
The lot number is reflective of the date.
gotcha. Makes sense.
And we would also be able to label, I guess, relabel product that would be on the inbound. If we have a damaged label that we can't scan on an inbound product, we need to create labels for that as well. But it would be that item number, that zone, that it's not changing the zone or item number. If you're following what I mean.
We change
Absolutely.
the data.
Yeah, so
We really don't on that part of it.
We have the ability to. At least,
We do.
I guess, yeah.
Yeah, if necessary.
So I'll have this discussion with Tony later, but Tony, if they're doing that type of relabeling from basically changing it from one item to another item with this additional information, maybe that should be handled through WMS, so it knows how to handle the inventory versus just like an item disappearing because it got relabeled.
I mean, you could use the transfer in, transfer out methodology. Or transfer out,
okay,
transfer
well,
in.
The way we currently do it is we create an invoice for ourselves. We ship it out to ourselves and create a purchase order to receive it. So that's how it's managed in Entree.
Okay.
With the
And
new system, you could do a transfer out. So you take product A that's say in the refrigerator, and then you do a transfer out, you scan out whatever boxes that you're gonna relabel. You relabel and then you do a transfer in and you scan all of those and it takes care of that transaction without the document. It would show in your movements as it came out of this and went into that.
Okay, I like that.
By the way, when you guys do the actual printing of the labels, are you using like a desktop label printer or is it a hip printer that guys walking around with?
It's like a large enterprise grade label printer.
Okay, so they got to
So,
go to a certain area, grab the label off of that, and then okay,
Yeah, there's a dedicated station for it.
okay. Would it be at any advantage to have somebody walking around with a label printer on their hip, or does it really make a difference?
I guess
I don't know if there's an advantage.
Yeah, we've been toying around with the idea of making one of the stations mobile, but also something on the hip might be advantageous, I guess. It kind of depends on how many you need, like, I mean, you're doing hundreds at a time sometimes, right?
Yeah, yeah. So, yes, I don't. Advantageous.
I guess at this point, I don't think we'd use like the personnel mounted one.
No problem. Yeah, I just wanted to ask that question. You might have said, no, it has to be on the hip. And I'd be like, ah. But if it's a desktop model, that just makes it easier for everything, for you generating the labels, fast speed, having a lot of labels loaded up in the printer without changing out labels a lot. So it's all good.
Okay.
Yep. All right. Any other last minute questions for today that anyone has?
I think we are good on our side.
Okay. Harold, do you want to throw anything else in there at the last minute?
Well, the only thing that I would add to that, Chris, is, within this first rollout of the WMS beta platform, you guys were carefully selected. I had conversations with a number of companies prior to this. And so, as Chris mentioned earlier, we're hopeful that as you begin testing the product, we get your feedback, as promptly as possible so we can make changes. We're very excited about this release. It's been a long time coming. There is a lot of manpower, a lot of man hours being put into it. So we do expect that this is going to hit the ground running. At hopefully some point, Tony doesn't like it when I bring up these things. I'm hoping the midpoint of Q1 of 2023. However, with anything, as you go through this process and say it'd be nice to have this or nice to have that, we're certainly going to have some give and take there. But we're very, very close. And we have been in partnership with Zebra for the last couple of years. So they're chomping at the bit, waiting for us to bring more hardware in. We have hardware that we don't normally stock on standby right now. And we firmed up our affiliation with Bartender this past year. So we feel like we're ready to hit the ground running. We appreciate the commitment you guys are making. And hopefully that commitment and the feedback we get from you is going to go a long ways to clients that jump on board after you guys have given the green light and the thumbs up. And as always, we appreciate your business. We know that NECS is hopefully a small part of that growth, and we appreciate the relationship you guys have bestowed upon us. I know I do. I think I can speak for the whole staff, and I'd like to thank you, and thanks for getting in on the beta conference.
Yeah. Thank you, Harold. And like, if we have everyone's permission, you let me know if I don't have your permission, but at some point we'll probably want to make this a private video that some of our other clients can watch. There's going to be a phase 2 beta program. But we were thinking about having the phase 2 people or maybe more of our customers kind of follow along with what's going on so that by the time we do release it, if they watch these videos, they'll be really well up to speed about the challenges that we've overcome, the questions you've asked, how we've provided the solution, and so forth. So we think it'll be a good thing to keep like as many of our customers aware of this as possible. And we would post it like on YouTube as a private or as an unlisted video that only if you have the link to it, you could actually see. So I want to mention that in conclusion. And again, Tony, thank you for going through the steps with this. When you guys have specific questions and you get your Gmail account, like Tony will be the contact for that. In the next week or so, your tech support person is going to contact you about a date to install the WMS API on your server. And, it's onward and upward from here. So you'll be getting the TC21 unit right around November 16th is when the projected date for that. So, all right, everyone, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank
Could we get a copy of the recording sent to us?
Yeah, absolutely. What I'll do is I'll post it on YouTube and I'll send you guys the special link to get to it.
Okay, perfect. Thanks, Chris.
Absolutely. Yep, you're welcome. All right,
Thank
everybody.
you, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye, everyone.
Thanks.
Thanks a lot. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.